Alright, welcome back to another Koenji-shan Reviews. And this is part 2 of my October Manga Haul for 2021. As I mentioned before, I got just too much damn stuff to fit all into one video unless I want to keep you all here for at least an hour. So I have split it up into 2 parts. If you haven't watched part 1 yet and you like retro horror and weird manga, stuff like that, then definitely go back and watch part 1. Here, I'm going to cover some manga encyclopedias, a whole bunch of retro and vintage manga magazines, some Gekiga stuff, and a couple other random things. So let's get into it. Right here, I got Showa Mangashi. This is all Showa era manga. I bought these for reference, and I got all of these at a pop-up book sale. A couple for $5, one for I think 15 or 12, about 1,500 yen. Great reference books. And pretty decent quality considering when they were made and that they are just manga zukan or manga encyclopedias. So I like picking up these kinds of reference books for, kind of cross-referencing mangaka, and they're a little glimpse into the eras that they cover. There's a lot of cool stuff in here too. Hirata Hiroshi. Bloody Stumps is available in English, translated by Ryan Holmberg. Yet again. Ultra violent Geki, like Jidai Geki stuff. There's some Mizuki Shigeru, some Umezz. So again, great reference encyclopedias. What else do we have here? This is the Manga Daizukan, so the big encyclopedia of manga. Again, covers just a lot of different artists. Morita did one-offs, strips. Takamori, Ashita no Jo. I mean, this covers a lot of different mangaka in here. So, Ishimori Shotaro, Kamen Rider. Yes. So again, I get these for references, and it's really useful to be able to cross-reference these. Tsuge Yoshiharu, of course, Neji Shiki. God, I could just go through these by themselves all day. Gekiga Mangaka Oru Meikon, so the complete encyclopedia of Gekiga and mangaka. So some cool color at the beginning here. Blackjack, of course, Tezuka. Matsumoto Reiji, who I picked up some Matsumoto Reiji. Again, Ishimori Shotaro. God, the color's so dope, right? George Akiyama. I got another George Akiyama little bunko release. I'll show you in a bit here. Sexy. Is that Kamimura? Kamimura Kazuo. Great stuff. So those were the 3 kind of manga encyclopedias I picked up. This, I can't show you all of this because I picked up over 22 volumes of Gendai Manga. It's made up of 15 volumes. I didn't pick up all of them, but I picked up most of them. Gendai Manga 2, which I'll show you in a second, and Gendai Comic. So These were released in 1969 for Series 1 and then 1970 for Series 2. They cover a mangaka or a theme. So these ones cover famous mangaka Tezuka Shirato-sanpei, RIP, rest in peace, died this month. Mizuki Shigeru, Tsuge Yoshiharu, of Garo fame, of course. All of them, actually, of Garo fame. But let me show you the inside of one of them. I actually did an Instagram video of in memory RIP Shirato-sanpei. So check that out if you go to Konji-shan Reviews Instagram. I like the embossing. There's Nezu Otoko. And the first pages always have color. Always? Should. Oh, maybe this one is the one that doesn't. Or maybe further in the Mizuki. But these are really cool. Just a bunch of Meidama Oyaji. Of course, Gekiga no Kitaro. The Shirato-sanpei had a nice color spread, a bunch of color pages in the first chapter at the beginning. But Mizuki looks like it doesn't. But these are really cool. 1969 hardcover. Not too bad. I picked up almost all these for $5 each. Some in the bargain bin for $1 each. And then a couple of them, like the Shirato-sanpei, I had to order online because I really wanted that one and it wasn't available where I was at. They have these slip covers which keep them in nice condition. And they are pretty awesome. So like I said, there was a second series too, Gendai 2. Sometimes they're not about a single mangaka. This one is Kotomo Manga. So it's just that from that era, kids manga from that era. This is post-war manga, so all post-war manga. A lot of it being political satire during the U.S. occupation. A lot of social commentary in there. And then they did a series called Gendai Comic. This one's pretty cool. It's got a bunch of some comic artists in it. There's one on Umezz that I need to find of this series. And this is also 15 volumes. So I think this is what I'm going to go for next. Start collecting those. I saw that there was a couple down at Mandarake in Shibuya. I'm going there this week because of the Mangataro exhibition, or Manxi Gataro, as the exhibition is called. Should be really fun. I'll do a video on that. And that is the Gendai manga series. Let's get into some cool stuff here. Alright, I was just mentioning that Shirato-sanpei just passed away. I happened to pick this up the last week for $1. 100 yen. Pt.2. Wild Dragon Battle. Can't wait to get into this. Looks really fun. So, of course, Shirato-sanpei was one of the early founders of Garo. So if you're into Gekiga, then you should know who he is. And to be honest, I don't want to say this because I'm trying to collect some stuff myself. But his stuff's going to start to disappear since he passed away. Better get on it. Kashihon Manga Dai Zenshu, the complete collection of Kashihon manga. Of course, Kashihon was that rental comic book era from the mid-50s through the mid-60s. And this one's really cool. It's got just little samples of a whole bunch of people that I love. Saito Takao, of course, Gogo 13, who also passed away this year. Mizuki Shigeru. We have some Ibara. Love Ibara stuff. We have, who else did I really look forward to reading in here? Of course, Umezz, Hirata Hiroshi, Bloody Stumps, like I said before, pick it up in English, available, translated by Ryan Holmberg. So some Tsuge and some Shirato Sanpei again. So this is a fun one. Not the best quality, but so many good mangaka in here that I had to pick it up. And there's a lot of gore and a lot of blood. And it was only 450 yen at my local bookstore, Sankakuyama, here in Koenji. And I just finished, I mentioned manga translator Ryan Holmberg. I just finished this week reading The Translator Without Talent. And, he recommended this in there, which is an Indian release of Japanese Gekiga and Indian mangaka. So I've been interested in checking out some other Asian manga from places outside of Japan, and I thought I would support the cause by buying this. This is volume 1. Volume 2 is also out. Volume 3 will be out in spring of next year. So it's really cool checking out the manga styles of the Indian mangaka. I've only read the first story, which is very light on text, as you can see, but beautiful artwork. Yeah. And I got this at Takoshe in Nakano Broadway, which is an awesome bookstore. They do a lot of import stuff. So a lot of stuff that gets translated into English, they will import back from North America or Europe, or and this is a great shop run by great people. But again, living here in Japan, Japanese manga is cheap. I tend to only buy Japanese manga. This is the third English title of anything I've got in the last year. One was the Holmberg book, maybe fourth, because Johnny Ryan just sent me Porn Basket, his new release. But of course that doesn't have a lot of text in it if you know Johnny Ryan stuff. So I don't do a lot of English reading is what I'm trying to say. This is Yoru no Harenshi Yaro, or the unscrupulous bastards of the night. Shameless bastards of the night. This is some erotic, what do I want to say? Not mystery, just it's erotic manga with some weird, stories going on in it from 1957 to 1962, I believe. Yep, there we go. My memory is not failing me yet. And these are really fun stories. Stories about ladies of the night. It's a go-go dancer story. Lots of despicable people. Maybe I should say despicable bastards of the night. That poor girl. Oh, what did I say? Vehicular homicide, death by car. She went a little bit wild and got some STDs and got bummed out. Wild Dancing of 1960. This guy's a creeper. I like this story. This is a story of a brothel being opened up, and there's this Indian guy in the story, and he is like super strong, and he kicks people's butts when they get out of line. And of course, the first night at the opening of the brothel, dude gets out of line and starts, trying to get some for free. And our Indian savior, he's awesome, has to step in and kick some ass. There he is in a knife fight. But in stereotypical 50s and 60s fashion, it's a bit racist, and he also likes taking naps. I do not know why the hell they did that, but they did it. This is another English title I picked up. I figured I'd keep one English thing around. I don't know, it's my native language. I read much quicker in English. But of course, this is a classic shot, the world of Japanese comics. Anything I'm reading in English, I usually just listen to on tape if it's an audiobook, if it's available, like listen to it like a podcast. But this is a book I should have had a long time ago. It's all-encompassing, gives a lot of description of the history of Japanese manga. So it is really good to have around. Ishimori or Hirata or Tezuka, shoujo stuff. I mean, there's like a lot of stuff in here. What? I want to see that flying head, man. Booyaka. Yeah, the world. So this is available. I got this for like $8 online, something like that. I have some real wild stuff to show you, but before that, let's kind of go through get into some manga magazines for a little bit here, and then we'll get back to some tankobon, some Gekiga, kind of mix it up here a little bit. What do I have? This is Pucci Margaretto, Petite Margaret. I think I mentioned this before in maybe an Insta post or something, but I basically got it just for this. This is Yoshimi Uchida, A Midsummer Night's Dream. Nice fold out. And it's shoujo. It's a shoujo magazine from the 70s. Great stuff. Paid $10 for it. I think I paid a bit too much, but again, it was from my local bookstore, Sankakuyama, and she doesn't get a lot of retro manga magazines in there other than Calm and Garo, so I thought I would just grab it while I was there. I am compulsive. Axe is always a good one to pick up. And I mentioned this, so I talked a little bit about my retro and vintage manga magazine collection in a video I did on Manga Yaro. So if you want to check that out, I showed this for a little bit in there, but basically I focus on one issue of Manga Yaro from the 70s. No, from the late 60s. No, from the 70s. God, my memory is failing me. This is a beautiful Hanawa fold out. And the inside cover has a Maruo, Suehiro Maruo advertisement. I think it's for a print that's for sale, a lithograph or something. So Axe is always good if you see those around. Also vintage manga magazine. This is the Horror Specialist DX, and these are a bit expensive. I think I paid 2,000 yen or about $20 for this. But look at who's in here. We have Koga Shinichi, Tsunoda Jiro, Inuki Kaneko, Hino Hideshi, just the Ochazuke Nori, just the who's who of horror manga in Japan. And I got this one because, as I mentioned in part 1, I am now collecting Tanima Yumeji to do a video on, and I wanted this one story from here, but God, I mean, just look at all the cool people in here. That's me bookmarking a bunch of stuff. Inuki Kaneko. Whoa. Let's look at those beheadings. Shoujo horror, I mean, even, Junji Ito is shoujo horror, but can go from very cute to very grotesque very quickly. One moment you're reading about these nice relationships between these cute girls, and the next moment you're being thrown into a snake pit by a creeper. Koga Shinichi. If you want to learn more about Koga Shinichi, I did a long profile video on Koga. It is in my library here on YouTube, so check it out. Of course, Koga is famous for Eko Eko Azaraku, and everyone knows who this is, Hino Hideshi. I have not read this one yet, so I'm not going to flip through too much because I do not want to spoil it for myself. But Horse Specialist DX, these are awesome. Getting harder and harder to find. Get out there and get some. The Manga Age, I think 700 yen. Sankakuyama, my local bookstore. It just goes to see these little marks on the side. They're just all different categories. Heroes, horror, sports, shoujo manga, science fiction. So this, of course, I picked up for reference material as well. Anytime I'm profiling someone, like say I want to profile Umezz, then I'll pull out all these reference books and read up on them, kind of take some scans out, maybe show them in the videos. And you know what? The more you cross-reference stuff, the more you learn about the mangaka you love. That's why I like making these videos, because once you talk about something, and I don't really have too many people in my neighborhood to talk manga with, then you remember more and you learn more. So prepping these videos and stuff really helps. Fusion product. This is from the 70s. What year was it? It would be 1980. Showa 56 was 81. This is kind of a guide or a Bible to mostly erotic manga. And not a lot of manga in here, more information, but there's Tezuka. That's not erotic. There's a section on erotica, actually. I really haven't gotten into this too much yet, but mostly this is a guide for buyers. Gives statistics, numbers, all that fun stuff that I'm into. So, anyways, I also picked this up for 257 yen in Asagaya, the next station over, at a used bookstore there. But, you know, sometimes I am into some weird ero stuff. And recently, what's this Insta pop below? Maybe I can put it down below. But recently, someone I follow on Insta has been posting a lot of covers of retro manga magazines. It's been inspiring me to track some down, like Erotopia. This is Erotopia Deluxe, of course, October 1983. Great. I was actually trying to find one with Kasama Shiro stories in it, but man, these can get expensive, $60, $70 a piece. I picked this one up for $15. Not going to really flip through it because you can imagine why. But it is all erotica, and some of the erotica stuff that I particularly like is the murder mystery stuff, and of course the horror stuff. Some of it gets pretty out of control as well, but fun stuff. And Erotopia covers are always very cool. This, I think I spent $15 on. This is Shonen Manga. It's Shonen Magazine from, what was it, 67? I really have to just write the years on these. Um, 1970. Okay, sorry. This is really cool. I'm going to do a flip through of this at some point. Starts off with some indie racing crashes. Forrest J's famous collector, horror collector, and movie monster collector. And then we have some cool stuff in here. What's this? Death by car? Please sign me up. It's a cool image. So I'm going to do a flip through of this later to show the whole thing to y'all. I guess since we're already on the retro manga magazines, let's keep going. So, as in my previous video, I talked in detail about one issue from 1967 of manga Garo, which pretty much was put together by this crew, same crew. Ishimori Shotaro, Kamimura Kazuichi, Saito Tako, of course Kogo 13, Akazuka Fujio. I mean, all these guys were put that together, and then they put this series together in 78 to 79. It only ran for 7 issues, and then it was put on hiatus and then never brought back again. But it's Cosmo Comic, so each, you can see it's sci-fi themed. But the funny thing is, the stories aren't sci-fi themed. For example, Kamimura doesn't do sci-fi, but each one of these has something about a sci-fi theme at the beginning. So this one is just talking about different stone structures that are mysterious around the world. And then you have manga from these various mangaka in there as well. Love these covers. There is the Daibutsu in Kamakura with Kanagawa Prefecture near Tokyo, with flying saucers flying over it. There's the Sphinx getting blasted by a flying saucer. Again, these are those famous heads from Mexico, I believe, that don't really have Mexican features. They think it might have been the mystery, well, speculation is there might have been people that traveled from Africa to Central America and built those around. I don't know where this pagoda is, maybe Kyoto. And this cover is really dope as well. Statue of Liberty getting her arm blasted off by a flying saucer, and it's always the same flying saucers. So I'm not going to get into too much detail with these because I will go over them in detail in the future. Well, I think I really should have split up this manga haul. Sometimes just weird shit falls in my lap. So like, I think this one I found on the train, on top of a vending machine at the train station, brand new. And this one in my local park, brand new, just walking by. These of course are Weekly Jump and Sunday. So yes, people ask me, oh, do Japanese people really throw out the weeklies and the monthlies? And yes, they do. And oftentimes they'll read it on the train and then just dump it at a station or something. Alright, what else do we have here? This is Garo. Picked this one up for, I don't know, $4 or $5. Look at that back cover, is sick. At my local bookstore, Sankakuyama. Of course, Gekiga stuff. And I picked up this there as well for a reference guide. This isn't a Garo issue, this is Manga no Oni. And really, it's what they're saying here is manga wa doko e iku no ka? It's like, where is manga going in the future? This I think was released after the fall or around the fall of Garo, and people were trying to figure out, well, what direction is Gekiga gonna go in the future? And there's some of that Heta-uma stuff I was talking about in video 1, you know, art that looks of low quality, but the more you look at it, you realize that there's lots of thought. Heta means poor quality, and uma means very good. Umai, very high quality, or very skilled, I could say. So low quality skilled. Kind of that ignorant tattoo style that you see nowadays. So this is a combination of manga and essays and interviews about the direction that manga was going at this time. Look, Mizuki Shigeru. And he was alive here because this is an interview. But of course he doesn't have an arm. Lost that in the war. My image was I was breaking these into 2 equal length videos, but obviously that is not happening. But anyways, let's move on. Big Comic Gold. This one's pretty dope. Instead of just going through these all at once, because there's just so much content in these retro manga magazines, I have decided I'll just go through one every now and then as far as doing flip-throughs and stuff. Kitaro. And this is, I believe this is pre-Gegege no Kitaro. Nah, but there's Neko Musume and Meidama Oyaji and Kitaro. God, you can never have enough. And Nezumi Otoko. You can never get enough Mizuki. Even though he did have some errors there where he put out some pretty questionable quality stuff. You know, he could have put a little bit more effort into it. Thing is they have these production companies, you know, just like Go Nagai has Dynamic Pro, you know, Mizuki Studios. He's got a whole crew of people. He just had to come up with ideas. They did all the work for him. He sketched that stuff out. This is Calm again. So of course Calm of Calm fame. So we are of course going to have, this one has some Monkey Punch in here. Monkey Punch, that's a cool picture. Rupan. Hirata Hiroshi. Again, Bloody Stumps, check it out. Monkey Punch. Gosh, there's just like a lot of cool stuff in here. I wish I could tell you what I paid for this. I want to say it was around 600 or 800 yen, but I appear to have taken off the price tag. I should give you guys the prices more often because I always find that people are interested in what I paid for stuff. This is a Margaret. I picked this up at a local little pop-up book event. So the back cover was missing. What was it? Let me see here. Is that a price tag? 500 yen. So the back cover was missing, but I picked it up because it has in it, there we go, Koga Shinichi. Koga Shinichi with the Dracula story in the very back. So, of course, I'm a big Koga fan. And again, if you want to learn more about Koga, check out my video where I profile him in detail. Alright, let's get back into a few tankobon and a bunko here at the end, and then we shall wrap her up. I like this, but this is volume 2 of 2. This is George Akiyama's Ste Kataki Hitobito. How would you translate it? The people that aren't so bad, or the people that are worth keeping? It's pretty cool. I mean, to be honest, George Akiyama can be hit and miss. Once in a while he did some horror stuff that I like, but also I picked this up for 100 yen. 110 yen. So $1. This here is Matsumoto Reiji, and this is Panic World, a classic. And this one I picked up for 210 yen, or about $2. And I always wanted this one. It's not in the best condition. I mean, there's some fading and some staining and stuff, but science fiction stuff, really fun. Panic World. I did a little flip through of this. This is a Sazae-san that I found in a bargain bin for $1. I took off the label because it was bumming me out on such an old book. And this is from God, what year was it? It was really old. 1943 or something like that. Showa Sanju Nen means, let's see, 1955. All right. So, and these are all strips. These aren't like long manga, but they're short strips. I did a flip through of this because it's just so fun. I mean, we watch Sazae-san here in my house. And Chibi Maruko-chan, of course, every Sunday. Tetsuo looks much bigger and taller and different. Yeah, Sazai-san. And I picked up some Tezuka. This is The Crater, both volumes 1 and 2. And I picked these up for $1 each. That's why I grabbed them. They're in awful condition, but I always just wanted to read the story of the crater. So I grabbed them. Again, bargain shelf, Asagaya, stationed down from my house. Really wild covers, huh? Yet another Tezuka. Ningen Konchuki. So the diary of human insects. People think of Tezuka quite often as, you know, like doing all this kid-friendly stuff, but he has some very racy stuff as well that he put out through over the years, you know? So it's not all for little kids. Some of it gets pretty wild. And this looks like it gets pretty wild in parts. So this looks like Tezuka, but it's not. It's Tanaka Keiichi. And it's kind of a gag manga spin. See, like, look, he's even dressed as Tezuka here. But he doesn't just riff on Tezuka, he also riffs on Mizuki and a couple other famous mangaka and makes these short manga stories. Looks really funny and nostalgic. I believe this was his first release. Now there's a riff on Devilman, Go Nagai, of course, or it must be Devilman rather than Dante. Dante was pre-Devilman. And finally, this kind of I should have probably covered in the first video, but this is Tsuruta Kenji. I found this. Japan is sinking. Nippon Furusato Chinbotsu. And I have about 10 volumes of Tsuruta stuff and a couple box sets of stuff now, so I really should sit down and just revisit all of his stuff and do a short video on him. But I have just so much damn stuff to do. So that is my manga haul for October 2021. Thanks for hanging in here with me if you are still watching or listening. And thanks to everyone who subs, likes, and shares. That really keeps me going, keeps me making these videos. If you have any questions about any of the mangaka or the releases in here, let me know in the comments down below. If there's something that you really want to know about, maybe it's not available in your language, but you want me to review it, let me know in the comments below. Who knows? I have a pretty big collection now, so I might have it or have something related to it or be able to find it. So I always like getting requests, and thanks. Enjoy the Halloween holiday coming up, and mata ne.